Hi everyone, welcome to U Effect. We have Kathryn Minshew with us today, founder and CEO of the Muse. We sometimes think of careers as like labels of like doctor, lawyer, and all these things, but they're just kind of an image. We don't necessarily know what they are, or we think we're supposed to just pursue them because. And then the reality, so I really like your view in terms of kind of seeing the behind the scenes. So with the job shadowing and things like that be helpful?
Exactly, because there are also so many careers that exist today that didn't even exist 5 or 10 years ago. I mean, who thought that being a social media manager would be a real job? Or I have a lot of friends who work in product. But what is a job in product? What do you actually do? And I think that it's so useful to be able to talk with somebody who's in that role, to ask them questions like, what do you do in a typical day? What type of person would really enjoy this job? What are some of the skills you need to do this job? And if you don't have somebody in your network or in your friend circle who has that job, how do you learn? And so we decided that we wanted to take that premise of putting you directly in contact with people in different roles and bring it to the internet. And so on the Muse, there are thousands of profiles, people who work in sales, in marketing, in operations, people who have really random and interesting jobs, people who were former military that transitioned, people who went from nonprofit to for-profit or for-profit to nonprofit, and being able to see inside their career path, I think helps someone realize, is this what I might be looking for too?
And that's probably the hardest part, I think, as an entrepreneur leader is sticking to a vision, particularly when you're innovating and it's something new, because everyone will continually try and push you back towards something that's familiar. And the whole idea of innovation is you're trying to get away from that. And I feel it's even has parallels to just even your identity sometimes. We're always kind of pressured to conform instead of stand out, and staying true to that core is probably one of the hardest things to do.
It's hard, and it's particularly difficult, I think, as you said, for so many people that are trying to start something new, whether it's a new business, a new organization, a new trend, because as you said, everybody just keeps telling you it's not a good idea. If it were valuable, somebody would have done it already. Or just we had people look at us and say, what makes you think that you can start this? And that's a hard question, because I mean, for most people, you do have that self-doubt. So part of you is like, maybe they're right. What if I'm not right? But I think it's also just trusting in your gut and in the feedback and the data you've gotten from early users enough to say, there's a big enough chance I think we're on something, and just push forward anyway. But it's been really gratifying now to be able to look back and say, we weren't crazy, we were onto something. But again, when you're in the trenches, you don't always know for a few years if your decisions are paying off. And so I think that's one of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur, is that psychology of just being able to keep going at it.
No, I appreciate that. As a fellow female founder, I find sometimes as millennials and young people, sometimes we're so apt to see gender equality that going into the business world, I just kind of assumed it was there.
Completely.
And it wasn't until I started to meet other women in business that were starting to point it out. And then I went to an innovation summit, and I was the only female entrepreneur in like a room of like 50 more entrepreneurs, and then that's when it like really hit me, like, where are women in innovation? Like, we're doing so many things, we need to represent.
And that's the thing, is when I was in college, I felt like the genders were equal. I was like, great that that so many people have fought for equality, but good job, we've done it, everything's great. And then I started my first real corporate job, and all of a sudden I was like, this is not what I thought. Even little things like, especially outside of New York, I would go into clients and people would just always assume that I was there to take notes and get coffee, and that the guy my age was there to build the financial model. And I was like, well, maybe I'm here to build the financial model, and it's fine. People were generally great when you pointed it out, but it was just dealing day in and day out with that sort of assumption. It's exhausting, and I'm excited for a world in which people don't necessarily put others into those types of boxes based on gender so quickly.
You and me both. Well, thank you so much for being on U Effect. I really appreciate your time. Your journey embodies everything that Muse is about, and I think a lot of struggles that are very relevant to our generation. So,
well, thank you so much for coming by. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.